Xabi Alonso era at Real Madrid lasted only 7 months, and Alvaro Arbeloa has came in as an interim. Maybe he'll be replaced in the summer by Jurgen Klopp. In any case, I'm doing something that no one wants to do it. I'm gonna rebuild him a team that will win in any scenario possible. He wants to put in a gegenpressing style and this Real Madrid team, but that would require selling big names up front. So before we get into this video, I'm going to sell a big name, either Vinicius, either Mbappe, either Bellingham, or even all of them. So stay tuned in the end of the video to discover what we've done. Let's start with position by position. So let's start with the easy one. I want to start with the goalkeeper position with Thibaut Courtois. This is a tap-in because Thibaut Courtois, he remains as the world-class shot stopper. He's incredible. He's only 32 years of age, which means he has at least 2-3 more years at the top. He's comfortable with his left foot, can play out from the back. And honestly, Thibaut Courtois is one of the reasons Real Madrid have been doing it quite good in the recent years. Without him, I don't even want to think about all the goals that would have been considered without Thibaut Courtois. So we keep Courtois, and as a backup, we keep also Andre Renaud. He has shown you with that Courtois injury that he can step up and put in great performances. I don't forget his Champions League matches when Courtois was injured. He's a solid backup. He doesn't seem to want to be a number one elsewhere. He seems happy at Real Madrid. He knows he's in a big club. So I would keep Lunin as a backup. And let's get straight into the defense. That's where everything starts. And that's where my revolution would even start. That's where really the culture changes. First of all, in the defense, I'm letting Araba leave on a free. I think he's leaving this summer. I'm letting Rudiger leave. I don't know if his contract is running out this summer or the next one. In any case, if it's this summer, I'll let him leave, or if not, I sell him. There is a Saudi club that will want him. There is European clubs that will want him. Italian clubs, I don't know. But Rudiger, he's no longer has the level. Honestly, how many games he has costed you with his stupid fools. With I don't think he has shown that he was one of the great defenders when Real Madrid won their Champions League. He had a good level. I don't want to say that he's a bad player, but right now he's honestly past his prime, and that's not the kind of player we want also for a high pressing team. We'll need a sort of a high line. We need pace, we need intelligence, and Rudiger is not a player that fits that criteria. So Rudiger would be gone, and another player maybe will surprise a lot of Madridistas, but I would say Asensio. I don't see Asensio as a future great defender, as I hear a lot of people saying. I don't see an incredible potential in him. Yes, he can become a good La Liga defender, but I'm not seeing Sergio Ramos region that everyone is talking about. I see a good squad player, not more than that. And when I saw that he was also among the players that also were unhappy when they weren't playing. I remember, for example, that video when Xabi Alonso subs him out and he's furious on the bench. He's not happy. Like, my guy, no one knows you. You're new. You're a young player. You have proven nothing, and you have that sort of attitude. For me, that's what I want to get rid of at Madrid. So, Asensio, I know that Premier League clubs, there is a club that will be willing to pay 40, 45 million, 50 million for him. So I would take the money and invest it elsewhere, because the way if he stays as a fifth option. So what's the point of keeping him as a fifth option when there is clubs that are willing to spend a lot on him? So I would sell him, and I would keep Huijsen, who I believe can even become a great defender, but again, he's not supposed to be your starting center back, and that's why a lot of people are a bit deceived by him. But it's just that Huijsen is not supposed to be a starter. He's still a young player. He needs to develop. He has the potential for sure. And Militao stays. I think, unfortunately, apart of injuries, Militao has proven that he's also a great soldier. You can count on him in the team, in a gegen-pressing team where we'll need pace, where we didn't need recovery pace. I think Militao could be a player that would fit in well. And Huijsen also, his height will be needed, but also his quality on the ball will be needed, and his intelligence. So that's why I keep Huijsen. And honestly, he's just here for season, so let's give him more time. So I would bring in two players, and those two players they would be free. So Florentino Perez would be happy on that one, because I would bring in a left-footed centre back and I would bring in Mark Guehi. He's Premier League proven. He's an excellent leader. He has proven it at Crystal Palace. He's the captain of Crystal Palace. He has been the captain of Chelsea at youth level. He's one of the leaders in that England team. Again, he's exceptional on the ball. He averages 91 pass completion per match. He has everything. He's 24, so he's perfect for the long term also. Honestly, I said it last summer, every club that wants a defender, Marguerite should be the number one option. He has zero flaw on his game. And people will tell me, yeah, but he plays at Crystal Palace. It doesn't mean anything. Trust me, Marguerite is a quality player, and in that defense, he will bring in what we exactly need. We would bring in that quality on the ball. He's left-footed again. He averages 91 pass completion, but he will also bring in leadership. And Real Madrid have started building that sort of English core with Bellingham, with Trent. Why not continuing it with Marc Guehi? The other player that would bring in also plays in the Premier League. He's Premier League proven. He has shown great performances in Champions League nights against great strikers like Lautaro Martinez. He also played against Vinicius Jr. I have always seen Vinicius Jr. quiet when he faced him. I'm talking about Ibrahima Konate, and he's got that pace to cover in a high pressing system. He's got that pace, he's aerial dominant, and I've criticized a lot Konate recently, but the reality is that when Konate is in his game, when he's having a good performances, he's probably top 3 in the world in his position. So I think Ibrahima Konate would be a great option. And what I love about Ibrahima Konate is that he works in any defensive system, either 4 at the back or either 3 at the back, either 5 at the back. It would work because I've played it all. So again, these aren't flashy signings, but that's exactly what Arbeloa will need for his high pressing team. So for the fullbacks, I would keep the exact setup that they have. Trent, the player that will create chances with his foot, with his long balls, with his creativity, his set piece quality. Kylian, who will provide width, will provide pace on his left side, who will provide attacking threat. Would keep them, and I would keep Carvajal, a backup to Trent, to bring in that leadership that we need. He's the captain of Real Madrid, and would keep also Fran Garcia. I don't think that Fran Garcia is a bad player, as most of the people say. I think in the right setup with a manager who asks him play on his strength, I think he would be a squad option. The only player I get rid of is Mendy, and honestly, do I need to explain why I get rid of Mendy? Look, how many times has he played in the last 2 seasons? Let's get straight into the midfield, and this is where the magic happens. Because first of all, I'm selling a player that a lot of people would expect me to keep is Camavinga. I would sell him. It's been now what, 6-7 seasons at Madrid. Has anyone seen progression from Camavinga? It doesn't also help him when he plays at every position, but again, Camavinga for me, he hasn't progressed that much. I can't tell you why. What is his best role? The same thing with that French national team. So continuing to give him time and hope that he will become the player that we all thought would become, I think would be a mistake. Maybe he would become that player, but in a different context, in a different club, in a club where he will have a starting role guaranteed, but that's not the case in Real Madrid. So I would get rid of Camavinga. I'm sure there is Premier League club that would throw 80-90 million at him, and we will take that money, because the goal, we have understood it well with Florentino Perez. Also, there's a financial also aspect that we can't ignore. So that's why also this rebuild, honestly, you'll see at the end of the video, I don't lose money, I gain money. So Camavinga would be gone. Another player in midfield who I would leave is Ceballos. Honestly, I don't think he has the qualities to play in a high pressing team. I don't think he has the qualities to play in this Real Madrid team also. So I would keep Tchouaméni as my number 6. I would play him in his natural position, where he would be a ball winner, where he would distribute quickly the ball, and I believe Tchouaméni in that role, he would be playing with his best, also playing with his best qualities. That's where I would play him. I would maybe bring in a player who would compete with him, a different sort of profile, someone who doesn't stop running, someone who's good on the ball, has that excellent foot on the ball. That's player I'm talking about is Angelo Stira. He was targeted last summer. They didn't go through with him. I don't know what happened, but that's an option I would still revisit this summer, and I would bring in, because he would bring in something really different on the ball. Again, he's not Vitinha, he's not João Neves, he's not the star that Real Madrid wants. Because I believe, again, with Florentino Perez, he would want to go bring Rodri, but Rodri is 29. What's the chance that at 30 he comes in at Real Madrid and he plays his best football also while having a ligament issue? So it doesn't make any sense. Go and bring in a player like Angelo Stiller, who still have a lot to prove. So I'll bring in Angelo Stiller in that number 6 role to compete with sort of Tchouaméni. And the next player I would bring in midfield, the key signing really in this midfield will be Elliot Anderson. He has that technical quality, but with incredible work rate. We've seen this season with the Nottingham Forest, we've seen it with the England national team. You will all see that during also the World Cup, because he'll start alongside Declan Rice in that midfield. Again, he never stops running. We're also talking about the who's perfect for the again pressing. We're talking about a player also who's number 1 in the Premier League in terms of forward passes. So you're getting a player who would be like really a sort of Kroos replacement. He would be that replacement of Kroos, which you never got. A player who will always be willing to go with forward passes, who will be willing to search for that dangerous pass, and in the right context, I think Anderson becomes world class. I know that he plays at Nottingham Forest. The Real Madrid fans want players who play at PSG. They want Vitinha, they want Makai, but trust me, Elliot Anderson would be the best solution. And alongside him in that midfield, I would keep Jude Bellingham playing in his best role, where he would be free to create and join attacks, where he would also benefit for having 2 workhorses behind in a player like Tchouaméni and a player like Elliot Anderson. Again, I think he would do well. And that Bellingham, also what I like from him is that he has that natural leadership in him, and I think he's one of the players who hasn't really given too much problems to Xabi Alonso. Bellingham in the right structure with the right mindset, again, he remains as one of the best midfielders in Europe. So that would be my midfield. And in terms of depth, we would have Angelo Stiller, as I said, would have Valverde, and would still have Arda Güler, who's also developing in that sort of advanced 8 role or number 10 role. So finally, that we've got a number 8 who wants to do the dirty work, that box-to-box player. Let's attack the forward line. And that's where it gets controversial, because I'm not selling only Vinicius Jr., I'm selling also Kylian Mbappe. Vinicius Jr., I think he's no longer the player he was. The contract issue is a problem. If you can sell him before the end of his contract, I think that will be beneficial. For Kylian Mbappe, again, what's his best position? I can't tell you his best position. Sometimes he wants to play as a left winger, sometimes he wants to play as a striker, and really the message you want to send is that no one is bigger than the club. We're talking about Real Madrid. So if you have a problem that has had problems with all his last 7 coaches, Kylian Mbappe at only 27 has been managed by 7 coaches. Yes, it's not only his fault directly, but come on, which manager has really liked to work with Kylian Mbappe apart from Didier Deschamps? I don't know any. And we're rebuilding a team that has to win, a team that has to press. Kylian Mbappe doesn't press at all. So again, this is unrealistic, but I would sell Kylian Mbappe also. I'll sell both Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe, which will lead me to trust a player that has always been loyal to Real Madrid. I don't know why he's kept his loyalty to Real Madrid. He has proven you also that he can perform in big matches, in Champions League nights. I'm talking about Rodrigo, and finally you would give him back all that trust by playing him in his best role, because again, I believe Rodrigo playing a whole season in that left wing role, where you would trust him, where you would give him the role he deserves, I think he would be in the Ballon d'Or conversation. Trust me, Rodrigo has shown it in Brazil in terms of potential. He was even highly rated than Vinicius Jr. in Brazil. That tells you how great he was at a young age. So I would give Rodrigo full confidence, install him in that left wing role, and Rodrigo, he will press, he will do the efforts. Rodrigo isn't the player that will cause you problems. So you want players who work hard off the ball also. So Rodrigo would be my starting left winger. On the right, I would trust also another player that hasn't been trusted. He is a talented player. He's Hendrick, where I think Hendrick deserves to have that confidence also on that right side here. I think Hendrick's future lies at right wing rather than at number 9, but that's my personal take, because I believe, again, with his height, I don't see him becoming an extraordinary number 9, but I see him coming off the right as he likes to do and starting off the right. So you would have Franco Mazzatano, who can play on the right, Brahim Diaz, who can start there, and Hendrick, who can come in. You have 3 players competing for that role. I don't think you need to buy a player. Yes, I think it would be flashy to go and invest 200, 150 million on Michael Ololise or even Bukayo Saka, but you don't need to do that. Just trust the players you have. So the player that I would invest in would be at top number 9. I want a player who's a clinical finisher. I want a player also who does a lot of hard work outside without the ball, who has an incredible work rate. And the player, honestly, I would be willing to spend 150 million on is Julian Alvarez. He has that City DNA. He understands the pressing, has worked with Pep Guardiola, has worked with Diego Simeone. He knows what it is to work off the ball. He's a team player. He has that Argentinian also winning mentality. I think he has everything that Madrid needs as a striker. The only issue would be, would Atletico Madrid sell? Realistically, I think they would. Who would refuse that much money? And I think Alvarez also understands that he needs to move to another club if he wants to win trophies. And I think the idea, he would wish maybe Barcelona, but Barcelona will never have the money to buy Julian Alvarez. So it will be between a team like Real Madrid, PSG. PSG, for now, they have Dembele, but if Dembele doesn't extend his contract, maybe they will be willing to go for a number 9. So you would have to act quick. Julian Alvarez, for me, would be the ideal candidate. So your attack would be Rodrigo, Hendrick, and Julian Alvarez as a number 9, and his backup, he has proven you that he can score goals. He has proven you he's an incredible talent, would be Gonzalo Garcia. He's Spanish, he loves Real Madrid, and I know it's not flashy, it's not Cristiano, Bale, Benzema, but you have really young players who would complement each other, who would be enough hungry also to succeed under any coach. So for me, that would work. So that would be my Real Madrid rebuild. The defensive line, you can see that they can play like 10 yards higher, because they would have the recovery pace of Gehi and Konate. For the fullback, they can provide width. For that midfielder triangle, it can allow constant pressing and quick transition, and that front 3 would press as a unit and they would create overloads. So every position would be built for the same system. There won't be any passengers, no egos, just 11 players who understand their role. And if you look at the numbers, Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe, if you can have at least 150 million for both players, would be at least 300 million. Let's say Kamavinga, you get 60 to 80 million. Let's take 60, 360. Ceballos, Mendy, let's say you don't get even money. Let's say Asensio, you get 40 million. So we're almost at around 400 million in transfer profits from the sales. But let's say you have to invest, you have to pay Konate, he would be free. Let's say 80 million for Anderson, Angelo Stilla, let's say 50 million, 130, and let's say 130 for Alvarez. So around 260 million you would pay in terms of coming. So you would actually build a better team while also making money. That's a revolutionary concept. So this is my complete Real Madrid rebuild, position by position. And the question is it controversial? Absolutely. But would it work? I genuinely believe this team would be more successful than their current squad. The question isn't whether this would work. The question is whether Real Madrid would have the courage to choose chemistry over celebrity, team over individual talent. I'd want to know what you think of each players. If you're a Real Madrid fan, which transfer would you be more excited about? Let me know what would be also your rebuild in the comments. I'll be willing to listen to all of you. And if you like this one, I hope you enjoyed it. And I made a quick video reacting on that Xabi Alonso sacking. The reaction will be here. And if you this one, make sure to like and subscribe for more football content. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.